Om Namah Shivaya. 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 Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. It's good to see all of you. Of course, my specs are missing, so I think all of you are there. Because it broke, so you know. So I think I can manage. So today is the second day of the series of talks. Yesterday I dwelled on the topic, in psychology there is no solution, and in Vedanta there is no problem. And I was happy to take questions offline as well. Very nice questions. So it's very nice, you know, when we receive questions, because ours is a questioning tradition. Some of you may know that there's a tiny section which we refer to as Vedanta, a part of the Vedas. Almost always there is a dialogue between the teacher and the student. Almost always. Sometimes the name of the teacher is mentioned, sometimes it's not. But a dialogue always allows for a flow of meaning. There is someone seeking to understand, and there is someone who has walked the path before. So there are several questions that are asked and then they are answered. So that's about an Upanishad. Today the topic is an inquiry into who am I. And for that I want to share a story with you. So there is this, it's a story about an Atlantic wave. Let's call this wave Wavy. Okay? So this Wavy lives in the Atlantic Ocean. And through the journey of Wavy, there is a lot that we can see in Wavy's life. So Wavy has pretty much been there, done that. The wave has traveled to many shores, very attractive. Has gone backpacking, pretty much. So because Wavy seeks experiences, so Wavy wants to discover himself through the traveling that Wavy does. So Wavy has gone here, gone there, so on and so forth. And sometimes he returns and gets pushed around a lot and struggles with his life. Is looking for some answers. is seeking, is chatting, is talking to people, to these other waves around him, but all of them are equally miserable. And then everyone has some philosophy to offer. So one of them will say, well, you win some, you lose some, don't complain, learn to be positive, think positive, or this will pass. So all these platitudes get thrown about. Wavy tries this to implement it in his life, but the wave always feels incomplete, is searching, is seeking, can't quite put a finger on it, but something's missing in Wavy's life. So it goes on, and he thinks, okay, well, I have to look for some more experiences, something more. I have to discover myself. So how to discover myself? First I tried, through looking at how my partner views me. So initially it was great. Then of course we met at the family court. So had to say tata bye bye. So that didn't last. And then I said, okay, we try some new agey stuff. And we look for experiences, because ultimately I am the sum total of my experiences. That's what Wavy thinks. And so Wavy has been looking and looking and looking for all kinds of experiences, and gets very dissatisfied, because that's the nature of any experience. And we look at that a little later. And so, as he's, going about his life, he meets someone, he meets another wave that gives him a recommendation. He says, you know what, even I used to have this existential angst you have, because I don't think this is going to be resolved only through therapy. So you're doing pretty okay, you're making the most of your life, so far so good, great. But I'm now finally at peace, the second wave says. So this guy is very puzzled, Wavy, like what happened, like what drug are you on, or we went for some spa session or what, you're glowing, you're doing so well. Like, no, I met this guru that's come from the Indian Ocean. Oh, I don't trust all these people. The guru, I run away from this word guru. So I am self-made, Wavy says. I'm self-made. I've figured out life. I've done very well for myself. I'm still alive and kicking. So I don't need anybody's advice. I don't need guidance. I can't trust. So anyway, the second wave says, you know what, why don't you just meet this guru that has come from the Indian Ocean? Okay, yeah, I don't have anything to lose, okay. So this wave from the Atlantic Ocean meets the wave from the Indian Ocean, this guru. He is looking for something special, okay, because a guru supposedly has to stand out. But this wave looks so normal. So it's like, no, I don't think this guy lives up to the status of being a guru. Because obviously we're very we're very evaluative, isn't it? So the guru, he doesn't react or respond. So Wavy asks the guru, Wave, so I'm told that you have something to share which might put an end to my existential angst. So the guru, Wave, says, are you ready? Okay. Yeah, I think so. Are you going to convert me, Wavy? So the guru says, no, you don't need to be converted at all. Do I have to believe anything? No. Do I have to give up anything? No. Do I have to take on anything? No. Okay, so I think I can trust this guru wave, huh? So the guru says that you have been seeking, he tells Wavy, you have been seeking which is a very good thing. If you have existential angst, congratulations, because you're a thinking person, you've not knocked yourself out, with drugs and so on and so forth. And what I have to tell you is going to blow your mind, without using any other substance, okay? So the Guru says, you think you're insignificant, you think you're incomplete, you think that something's wrong with you, you think that you're not good enough, but actually, Wavy, you are the ocean. What? Yes, you are the ocean. I knew it. These Indian gurus, I tell you, they speak in such paradoxes and they try and make some mystical statement. I don't think I'm going to get this. So he says, okay, this is my what we call pratignya statement. You make the statement of teaching first, and then you unfold it. You delve into it, you dwell on it, and we do an inquiry into it. So the Guru says, you are the ocean. You are vast and the most significant thing ever. So Wavy has not heard this even from the many partners he has had. Okay, the partners, maximum the partners would have said, oh, I love you, honey, you're my darling, you're my love, sweetheart, this, that, the other. But nobody ever said that you are free and you are the reality. So you are the one that makes this ocean. You are the ocean. Nobody said that. So this is very intriguing. Wavy wants to know more, obviously. Wavy is also very suspicious of the Guru, naturally so. So the Guru continues. The Guru says that the reason you're shocked is because you are focused on the form. You think you are this little thing, moving around, getting pushed around, having complexes, perhaps needing to go for therapy, and going through therapy and feeling significant and feeling normal, learning to relate to everyone, learning to not blame your parents, so on and so forth. So you've done very, very well. All that's fine. Still, who are you really? So Wavy says, well, what you see is what you get. I'm just a little wave. Of course, maybe I have an advantage because I belong to the Atlantic Ocean. So I belong to the West. So I have an advantage. But, that's all I am. No, that's not all that you are. What is it that makes you up? What are you made of? What's the stuff you're made of? So Wavy says, of course, I'm water. I'm made of water. I'm a form in water. Okay. So are you saying there are two things here? Are you saying you are the wave, or are you saying you are water? So Wavy says, of course I'm the wave. What do you mean water? Of course I'm the wave. That's my form and that's how I function. So then the Guru says, you know what? The form will always have problems. Why? Because form follows function, and then when we are operating in a functional world, of course when there is two, there is always disagreement, sooner or later, and there are issues to resolve. Not a big deal. You can sail through it. But does the form define you? Because for anything to define you, it needs to be there 24/7. Otherwise, it can't define you. So if I say this, 2 days ago this was white. So now, of course, it's another shade of white. It was like how when we were in the ashram, me and Nandana, we studied in the same course. She's a Vedanta teacher here, so you can approach her later. I mean, I'll talk more about her later. So yeah, shade of white. Does that white define the cloth? Because this can be dyed. So white, the color, doesn't define this cloth. Likewise, what is it that defines the wave? So the Guru says, you know what? The wave is just a form, it is incidental to you. You could have been a tsunami, you could have been a breaker, you could have been this big, I mean, I don't know, I have to check with my Brazilian students. They have lots of terms for these surf, I don't know, different shaped waves. So that's what the Guru says, that you could have been any of this, but right now you are a wave, and what defines you is not your form. And therefore the problems that you have with your form also don't define you. So what is it that gives reality to you is water. So here I am going to introduce a Sanskrit term called satyam. Okay, it's a Sanskrit word, satyam, which means existence. Satyam also colloquially may mean truth, but I am using it in the context of the word meaning pure existence, that which is in all periods of time. So the Guru tells Wavy that your truth, what defines you, is really water, not your form. So Wavy is kind of liking the sound of it. It's not clear yet, but that's fine. And Guru also tells a verse from Bhagavad Gita, na jayate na mriyate. So you didn't have a birth, you have no death, you have always been around as water. So this is too much. I had planned for my funeral. there are these services, how one wants to appear even at one's funeral, and the whole setting, the flowers and all of that. But anyway, so Wavy is a little bit struck by this, that yeah, that's true actually. In some places I've had a different form. I've had many relationships with many other waves. I've learnt a lot from the journey of life, from this constant movement. I have had wonderful experiences where dolphins have moved through me, and I've allowed them to play, and it's been so much fun. And of course there have been times when very irresponsible companies have put their sewage untreated, and have polluted the waters. So I've had all these different kinds of experiences, but can I really say one experience defines me? No. Because to define me, it has to be there all the time. But what is it that is there all the time? Yes, it is satyam, that water is what defines me. So then what is that form? So we be saying, but what about this form? Because, all this is all, maybe it's all flaky stuff. So our Wavy has no fear, which is a very good thing. He loves to question, which is an even better thing. So he says, what you say is okay, but how do I practice this? So give me some practice. So the Guru says, but what is there to practice? I'm just telling you, you are the water that defines the wave, that defines your form. It's just a matter of understanding. No, I want another experience. So the Guru says, okay, we'll come to that. That really speaking, Wavy, you are satyam, that which always exists. The form that you have of the wave, incidental, not intrinsic to you, that is, we will use another word in Sanskrit called mithya. Mithya means that which depends on satyam. These are words that are pointing to the reality in the context of our understanding. There is no object called satyam floating around in space. So, satyam is a word to just point out my understanding of reality. And what is the reality of the wave? That the wave's not going anywhere. The wave has always been there. In fact, it is what defines the wave is water, is satyam, that which always is. Okay, so okay, fine, theek hai. So I'm water, so what? So I'm like a pocket of consciousness. So I'm feeling very special, okay. So water defines me, fine. So what about it? You know, will all my problems end? Because all my problems are centered on me. Because I have been seeking. I have been seeking something that I don't quite know what. And I'm not been able to put my finger on it. So the Guru continues that I started out saying you are the ocean. You, what you consider as little wave, you are the ocean. What is the ocean? Ocean is all the laws and the principles that upholds the wave, because it's a large body of water, isn't it? Which in a very fascinating way always maintains its boundaries, you know. So some of us may have homes facing the ocean, or you know, we may travel on holiday to these places, and we trust, even if we don't trust God, we trust that the ocean is not going to transgress, right? The incidents of tsunami are like few and far in between. You trust that because you see certain laws and principles that are operating in the context of the ocean. So what the Guru is saying is that you, wave, are the ocean. You who thinks you are a limited entity, you are Ishvara. We spoke about it yesterday. So Ishvara, the conscious being, that is the intelligent cause and the material cause. In other words, it sounds very boring, isn't it? Intelligent cause, material cause. But all that we see here is Ishvara. So all laws, all principles, wherever you see intelligence, even a stone has intelligence, by the way. Somehow the atoms just know where to move and how to move and all of that, and they keep moving. So even that intelligence, the whole intelligence, entire cosmos, whatever has been discovered or not yet discovered, all of that cannot exist on its own. It rests in a conscious being, and we have given a word called Ishvara. I mentioned yesterday that I am avoiding the use of the word God because of certain connotations that we have grown up with. So you, the individual, are Ishvara. Statement has been made. So then when a statement is made like this, you are that. Okay, some of you have heard this. You are that, I am that. How many of you have heard that statement? Oh, quite a few. So this is the briefest statement possible, and the whole Veda is in service of this statement, that it has to be understood. And what a funny statement. You know why? Because it's got pronouns. You don't, so I is okay, pretty straightforward. There's no other person other than I. But that, what is that? So like some of the, you know, people who didn't quite understand these words, he said, oh, these are just the wobbling of some crazy person or something like that, you know, they misinterpreted it. Anyway, so what the Guru told the wave is, you are the ocean, you are Ishvara, you are God. You has to be inquired into, God has to be inquired into for the equation to be understood. If I tell you 2 plus 2 equals 9 minus 5, of course it's pretty straightforward. But if I were to tell a 6-year-old this, then this looks very different. 2 is very small, 9 is very big, Or if I say 96 minus 91 equals 2 plus 2. So, oh my God, this limited entity, the struggling one, the one who's come to the yoga festival, seeking more experiences or whatever it is, some teachings, etc. I hope this yoga festival does it for me, whatever, okay? Some great teachings will descend or whatever it is. The seeker is seeking an experience so that the separation between the subject me and the object is reduced. We have to inquire a little bit into this journey of a seeker. So anyway, to close the story of the wave. So Wavy heard this, was intrigued and said, okay, I would like to listen to you a little bit more, because intuitively something feels right to me, but I'm not very sure I fully understand, and so it has to be understood, okay? So the Guru says, yeah, sure, we will keep talking, and it is something to be seen clearly, because all of us have glasses, okay? We have glasses, we have default settings. You understand default setting? So it's like on your washing machine, you may have set it to, let's say, fuzzy. So that takes, at least I can tell you the one that I'm familiar with. It takes 1 hour, 10 minutes. Now sometimes, when you have less clothes to wash, you need to make the effort to turn it to quick, which will take lesser time and of course lesser water. But it's a default setting that will work all the time. Whether more clothes, less clothes, doesn't matter. So I don't want to make the effort, because it's a default setting, let it continue. I don't want to rock the boat. So our default setting is, I am just a human being. I am this limited entity. I am struggling in life. I am trying yoga. I am trying gong bath. I am trying pranic healing. I am also trying some little Vedanta stuff, but actually I am not quite clear what I am seeking. I don't really know what I want in life. And luckily for us, we do know what we want in life, because we have a norm. What is our norm? Our norm is to be happy. That's our norm. So anything that contributes to my happiness, yeah, well, that's what I want. So if I wish you, like how we say here, good day, or if it's anybody's birthday, if I say, well, happy birthday, the person is not going to protest, saying, no, but you don't really know what I want. It's understood. You wish everyone happy birthday, happy anniversary. You don't say, oh, I'm really sorry, it's your birthday today, so I wish it wasn't. So it's convention. But nobody protests. In fact, people get upset if you don't wish them on their birthday or whatever is a significant event, because it's universally understood that we are seeking happiness, and we are seeking happiness experientially, because in an experience what happens is, there is some sort of fusion that takes place. So I am the seeker seeking an experience. So maybe let's say seeking an ice cream. So I want this ice cream or this smoothie, very nice. I just had strawberry and banana smoothie. So I am the one seeking this pleasurable experience. Now I have the smoothie. So as I am sipping it, it's still freezing, and that straw is that made of some, I don't know what material, and it starts to get a bit soggy. So then I'm wondering, oh my God, now that's the nature of an experience, okay? So I am sipping, very nice, very nice. So I'm enjoying it. So now it's a seeming fusion. So the subject and the object have met. Object was the smoothie, subject me, the one seeking the experience. Very pleasurable. Then what happens is, as the level goes down, I want some more, but I don't want to spend. I'm a sadhu, I'm a monk. so I am sipping. I want more of the experience, but as I'm having the experience, it's going, it's gone. So the nature of any experience is like this, that it has a touch of pain, because you don't want to lose that experience. Any experience is like that, however happy it is. So some of you who've enjoyed the yoga festival say, oh my God, one day is already over, 2 days are already over, it's going to be over very soon. It was so nice to chill out here, I have to go back to the grind. Even when you're having the pleasurable experience, you're reminded of the schedule for the next week. You don't want it. So the happy experience has a lesha, what we call it, it's tinged with pain. Suppose somebody heard, oh, Swamini likes strawberry banana, okay, and gives me 3 smoothies. So I don't want to say no, because I want to be polite, and I'm cognizant, I'm very considerate that this person is so kind. But imagine if I were to try and have that. I will not have a smoothie for the rest of my life, I'm sure. Because that same pleasurable experience no longer has the power to make me pleased. It loses its power. We've seen that more of something, then after that, I don't want this. You thought that you couldn't do without a particular person, like your whole life you have waited for this person, now this person came into your life, and now after a few months or maybe weeks or years, you're waiting to get rid of that person, right? Your laughter tells me that it's a very common experience. So we've all been there, done that, isn't it? So that same experience has the power to totally put me off. So is it really about that experience, or is it about me? The nature of an experience is that it begins at some point in time and it ends, however pleasurable it is or however sad it is. It is tinged with pain, and the same thing doesn't give me the same amount of pleasure. So Wavy, who has traveled all over the world and has had thousands and thousands of experiences, okay, can have the 20,001 experience. But what is the conclusion of Wavy? That I am limited, I am insignificant, I am not complete, I seek fullness, I yearn for fullness, I want to be water, I want to be grounded, I want to be fine wherever I am. Wherever I travel, I don't want to be pushed around, I want to be respected, I want to be accepted. That's the human search. You're not alone if this is what you want, because really speaking, it's not a psychological need. It appears as that. But what underlies this psychological need, seeming psychological need to be accepted, is a fact that I have taken myself to be just a human being. Why? Because of this body suit I have of flesh and bones and fat and blood and tissues and more fat, which I'm trying to get rid of, but nothing happens. So that's the story of my life. That I am so obsessed with my identity as a human being, because I know no other, that I am struggling with it. And the Guru has pointed out to the wave that you are the ocean. In fact, you are the satyam. You are that which sustains each and every form. So earlier I had a complex as Wavy, but now no more, because while I might have had a difficult life, and a lot of us, if we all write our stories, they will all turn out to be real bestsellers. I'm sure of it. Because everybody has gone through ups and downs, and everybody's gone through a tough life, and still you have emerged as the hero of your journey. So we'll be amazed by how universal whatever we have gone through is, all our suffering and all of that. So anyway, the truth of the wave, the truth of us is that we are the limitless. That's the inquiry. You know, when we say, who am I start with the body, correct? Like the Guru started with the wave, the form. So I start with the body and I say, well, if the body defined me, then if I cut off my limbs or if they get cut off in an accident, then I am dead or I am gone. But no, I'm not, I'm still there. If the conditions of the body keep changing, then they cannot define me. If my clothes keep changing, obviously they don't define me, although some fashion designers would want you to believe that they define you. The status of your mind is changing. What is changing cannot define you. Sometimes you're happy, sometimes you're sad, sometimes you're indifferent, sometimes you're bored, sometimes you have a memory of something, sometimes you don't. Changing, 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 changing all the time. What is changing can't define you because you are always there. So the question is, who is the one that is always there? Is it the body? Because when you are in deep sleep, you're not there. At least you don't think you're there. You're not even thinking in deep sleep, right? Then is it the mind? Like Descartes said, I think, therefore I am. And we'll say, you idiot. You can dare to say that. You are, therefore you think. Because between two thoughts, who is there? When you're not thinking, when you're knocked out or when you're sleeping, who is there? There is some entity. There is some entity that is watching the flow of thoughts. That even between two thoughts, you know, thoughts move so quickly, even between two thoughts, who is there? You are there. Through all the experiences of your life, childhood, youth, old age, did you transform? Your body may have transformed, right? So, of course, nowadays nobody does this. Maybe they do this, you know. So because that's the latest, isn't it? Like a lot of the men, you know, they don't grow it, it grows. So yeah, while they may do that, that's there are changes in the body. But the change doesn't define you. Your relationships, they come and go. Of course, we define ourselves by our jobs. We define ourselves by our partners and how they treat us. But that's also incidental to me. Because if it was not incidental to me, I would not be able to divorce anyone, correct? I would not be able to be with anybody else. So what is it that really defines me? What is it that always is? And the teachings of Vedanta point out to the fact that you are the absolute reality, even to the wave, that you are the water, that is the reality of all the forms of the ocean. You are the reality of the ocean. Without you, there is no ocean. Without you, consciousness that you are, no form can exist. Without you, no experiences can exist. Because yoga will help us in terms of Ashtanga yoga, pranayama, asana, and this whole is a very beautiful system. It will help us to be competent in life. But that I am stuck with the identity of being an experiencer. Okay? So we call it bhokta. So you are an experiencer. That's my identity. That's why I'm seeking all these experiences. Nothing wrong with it. Seek as many experiences as you can. Vedanta will point out to you what is the nature of that experiencer. What is it that defines that experiencer? Because surely not one experience can define you. What is it that defines the meditator? Because every meditation is not for the sake of meditation. It is for the sake of the meditator. So somebody will say, oh, you know what, I have really withdrawn into myself. So whether you are a bhogi or a yogi, bhogi means you're an experiencer, you're all out there and you want to meet people, you want to socialize, and then you want to party, and then you want to, I had one student who knew the exact dosage of different substances that could be mixed, and he prided himself on that. He said, these meds, so this met, I don't even know how to pronounce it, what is that? Amphetamine, no? Something like that, okay? So ecstasy or whatever, yeah? So this much of ecstasy and that much of that, and that gives me the perfect high, okay? So he had it to a T. So whether you're a bhogi meaning like an experiencer, you want to seek anything and everything that's out there, or you say, you know what, no, I am a little elevated now, I'm a yogi, so I'm a yogi, I'm moving more inward, and I am more meditative, I'm more reflective, I'm more introspective. What you are seeking is an experience, unless you know otherwise. Either way, if you are an experience seeker, it will lead you hopefully to the discovery that you are consciousness, the basis of all experience. Because when the Guru told the wave, are there two entities? Are you the wave or are you the water? So what did Wavy say? I am the wave. So Wavy is asked, but does that define you? No. What defines you? Water. So are there two? No, I am water in the form of the wave. Are there two? Give me a straight answer, Guru says. So our Wavy doesn't want to give up form. There's no need to give up anyway, it's all in our understanding. No, I have a form, I want to enjoy life. Of course, you please enjoy your life. Be categorical, tell me, are you a wave or are you water? So then this fellow Wavy is struggling. So then the Guru says, you know what, you may be a wave for this lifetime, you have this seemingly human experience, and of course you have a good time interacting with all these other waves. So we will talk about what might be the principles of engagement. How can you be in harmony with all the other waves? So that's, we'll talk about it tomorrow, for the next, tomorrow the talk will be on Dharma. It's an ancient guide for all relationships. So that's good, we can talk about all of that. But that is what we call mithya. It depends on you, the satyam. You are that water, you are that which defines your form. In fact, you as water are the basis for all the forms. So you as consciousness, you're not a product of your body. Okay, this may need some dwelling into, and I'm not sure we'll have time for that. But if we're going along with the wave and the water, is water a property of the wave? What do you think? Obviously not. Is water a part of the wave? What do you say? What do you think? Yes, no? Yes? Is water a part of the wave? Yes or no? No? So I put you to sleep with the story, I think. So if water is a part of the wave, then what is the other part? Non-water, is it? No. So water is not a part of the wave. Water is not a product of the wave. Water is not a property of the wave. Just like the consciousness that you are is not a part of you. It's not like if I pinch you, I'm not intending to do that, but if I pinch you, all of you is conscious, right? Unless there is a problem in some part, okay? But the consciousness that you are pervades you entirely. Even if you lose a part of your body, you still are. Even if you don't have many experiences. So I wanted to go to this water tent and air tent and all of that, but I can't be in all the places at the same time. So I've not had so many experiences in my life, but still you're okay. Even if you had 30,000 experiences in life, you're still okay. Even if you are a yogi or a bhogi, you are inward looking or outward looking or both, that you are consciousness, the Veda reveals that you are the limitless, that you are the fullness that you seek. That's not going to change. You may feel miserable, you may feel horrible or whatever it is, and you may have a narrative about your life. All of us like to tell a story, the story of our life. And what is very interesting is that as our learning grows, the story also changes, which is a very nice thing, nice thing to happen. Whatever be the story of my life, if I am seeking or not seeking, the Veda reveals to me very, very systematically that you are the fullness you seek. That I was seeking myself in different experiences, all the bhogi experiences. I want to run here, I want to try all these different stalls, everything. Great, try. What is the nature of you as the experience? Because the happiness that you seek actually doesn't lie out there. All that an experience does is just invoke what is really your nature. Because the limitless that you are, the definition of limitless, it has no boundaries. You actually don't have boundaries. You are just having a human experience. So what defines you is a word that I will use. Either we can use consciousness or awareness. Consciousness, when I say the term, is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it Superman? So consciousness is not something you can conceptualize when I'm using that word. So we say, oh, this person is conscious, unconscious. No. When I say consciousness, what I am saying, just understand it as a word, that which means that which always is. So is there any object that you know of that always is? Even this earth, whatever, Big Bang, etc., if you're going by modern science, you know that it's come about. So even the earth as we know it didn't always exist. It was there in some form or the other, whatever it is. Do you know of anything that always exists? No. What about you? Maybe, maybe not. I'm going to die soon, and then my epitaph will just have the date. So 1960 or whatever, 1940 to 2017, 18. That's it. Your whole life summarized by a dash. All my achievements, all my journeys, all my experiences, all the people I met, everything. So this whole I've been seeking and all of that, and then I just died away. I don't even know if people will remember me after I'm gone, because when people die in my life, I just get on with whatever has to be done. I feel sad from time to time, but just get on. So this purpose of my life, I did so much. Was death the last? Was that the last thing, the finale, the climax? Death is only for the body. Body meaning body, mind. You are not going anywhere. That's the good news. Okay. So whether you manifest as another life form or you don't, you are the limitless. You are the fullness you seek. and you happen to have a human experience. The form that you have is because of karma. I believe there was a talk about karma in one of the previous sessions, so I'm not dwelling too much on that. The actions that you have done, which became the capital for this body. And the purpose of all my seeking, all my pursuits is to be free from seeking. I am not seeking because I want another experience. I am seeking because I want to be free from seeking. I don't want to seek anymore because I want to feel complete and free, that I am happy in any situation, every situation, in all times, in all situations, in all places. Is there anybody who will complain and say, you know what, I've had my dose of happiness for today, that's it, I can't handle any more. Okay, so please stop it. Nobody is going to do this, right? Because that's what we seek. I want to be happy in all situations, in all places, at all times. And the good news is, the happiness that I seek, the fullness that I seek, the merging of the subject and object experience that I seek, the truth that I seek is really me. It is me, that conscious being, that is the basis of all the forms. That conscious being that has no boundaries. That conscious being that is not defined by any experience. I am that conscious being that is not touched by any of my relationships. I am that conscious being that is not touched by all the seeking and the striving and all of that. So just like space, I was telling you all yesterday, space is untouched by whatever happens. All the other elements, they can have their play. But space is not expanding or closing in or saying, okay, let's get the, let's close in on these yoga festival people, or let's expand because they are having such a good time. Space is space, it accommodates everything. So with this knowledge of Vedanta, which it needs a very systematic study, we're just, touching the tip of the iceberg here. You are helped to see very systematically that you are the truth of what you seek, that the truth of any experience is really you. So here we are not promoting arrogance. We're not saying that you are very significant and the others are hopeless, useless creatures. No. That you are the basis of everything, which means what? That all the forms just happen to be, they have a status of mithya, they depend on something else, that is satyam, that is you. So consciousness doesn't have a form. So, part of our struggle is we try to conceptualize it, because that's how we know anything and everything. We try and imagine it, we try and visualize it, and then if I add some sound effects, maybe add some smoke here, and maybe we don't need to dim the lights, of course, but I talk in a very soft voice, and you say, this might be consciousness. Hey, that consciousness is you. It's not got anything to do with special effects. So that which is your definition, that is satyam, you always are. You are not touched by any experience. No experience can define you. No sadness can really touch you. Sadness can be there in your mind and we have no problem with it. Because the beauty of the Indian culture is that we encourage you to experience all emotions. So there is a whole theory of Navarasa, a theory of emotions. I mean, it's a loose translation, there's much more to it. That this is the glory of Ishvara, this is the glory of God, that you can experience any and every emotion, and that, because emotion drives us, isn't it? The amount of things that the parents do for their children, if it was not for the love that the parents had, who's going to have so many sleepless nights? So it's unimaginable, it's unthinkable. Emotion is not a dirty word. We enjoy it, we welcome it. We allow ourselves to experience anything and everything. So anyway, that was just a quick digression, but what I want to highlight is that the seeking comes to an end when the seeker discovers that he was the sought. I looked all over the place, not quite knowing that I was seeking myself. I was seeking myself as free from seeking. That all my pursuits, I wanted to be with a partner because I wanted freedom from loneliness. I wanted a home or a van, or I wanted a tent because I wanted to be free from homelessness. I wanted to be with someone because I wanted to be free from loneliness. But all the way I have wanted freedom. I wanted freedom from seeking. I don't want to seek anymore. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. So here and there, everything, and all this samadhi practice I am trying so much for years. All this yoga, it's just too much. I'm just getting more and more complex now because all my other batchmates, they are all progressing, and I just can't do it. And then there is this whole thing, learn some Sanskrit also. Oh my God, this is too much. So the point is that as long as I hold on to the conclusion that I am this insignificant creature, because I don't know any better, because I think I'm just a human being, I am guaranteed to be miserable. And Vedanta ensures that I am able to see slowly, step by step, that what I see, I am not. If I see a donkey, I am not a donkey, I am sure about that. If I see an elephant, I am sure I am not an elephant. If I see a microbe, I am not a microbe, I am sure of that. If I see a loser, I am not a loser. If I see a thought in my mind that says you are a loser, then what?
It's just a thought.
Exactly. So it's just a thought. Because I now have an emotional distance between me and my thought, which earlier I didn't have. So I'm able to see thoughts moving, I'm able to see emotions moving. Then what is it that doesn't move? What is it that always is? Who is that unchanging one that is a witness to all the changes? That unchanging one is you. That unchanging one is consciousness. That unchanging one is also the reality of Ishvara. So Ishvara, we dwelled on a little bit yesterday, the topic of Ishvara, that the reality of you and Ishvara is one. So you are the ocean, that's what Wavy was told, and Wavy smiled. Something maybe true, rings true. And I'm telling you that you are Ishvara, you are the satyam you seek through all your experiences, and it requires a systematic exposure to this means of knowledge. It's not a belief system that helps you to see, as the words lead you, the words will drop off, but your understanding will remain. So there is a certain methodology that we follow in Vedanta, which requires some hours, weeks maybe, months maybe, years. Could be. It depends on your preparedness, okay? It depends on your preparedness. It depends on how open you are to your default settings and trying and setting that right. Because we have different ways of thinking. They can be quite mechanical, can be default. We're not always responsive to situations. We run away from certain situations. We yearn for only certain other situations. So there is a lot of work that we might need to do in terms of self-growth. But the beautiful part about this entire journey is that it is fun all the way, because you are discovering yourself, you are growing as a person in a way that no experience can anymore get you down, that no emotion can get you down anymore, because you are discovering more and more that you are bigger than all your desires, you are bigger than all your experiences, you are bigger than all your relationships also, you are bigger than all your thoughts, you are bigger than all your emotions, you are bigger than all the sadness that you have gone through, you are bigger than all of this. And the more and more you discover that, the more and more you see yourself responding to different situations, being in harmony with the world, you experience a sense of oneness. There is an experience there, and that me and the other is not a problem. We look at that tomorrow, but me and the other is not really a problem. So on an experiential basis, you are more in tune with everyone. You know, you're always in a Wi-Fi zone of Ishvara. So Wi-Fi is that all, anywhere you go, you don't have to struggle for network. So so this, because all laws and principles are always propping you up, the intelligence is there, you are pervaded all the way by Ishvara, the ultimate therapist. And then, you know, as I learn to relax, I learn to trust. As I learn to trust, I learn to be in harmony. As I learn to be in harmony, then I am open and receptive to this knowledge, to what is being pointed out by this absolutely glorious tradition of Vedanta, the highest tradition in Hinduism, because it's pointing out to the oneness of everything. And now all of you are also a part of the tradition, to the extent that you want. But some exposure is there, and it's very beautiful. You know, we have a day coming up in the next few days. It's called Guru Purnima. So it's the day when we celebrate the birthday of a sage, a rishi. So Bhagwan Veda Vyasa. And thanks to him, he was the one who codified and put a lot of things together. Because this is all revealed knowledge, it's not written by human beings. It's revealed knowledge, and we celebrate that because if any of you identify yourself as spiritual but religious, spiritual not religious, you have a connection with the Veda. And that's what we celebrate. We celebrate the birthday of Bhagwan Veda Vyasa. But more than that, we also celebrate the tradition that has been established. It's an unbroken tradition of teacher-student. Every teacher has been a student, and every student has a potential of being a teacher at some point in time, because our lives are in service of the tradition. Because it's a glorious tradition, a tradition of blessing all the way. So with that, I will conclude for today and probably take questions. I have here Nandana. Nandana lives here in the UK. She's a Vedanta teacher, and I believe she has classes in Watford. You can contact her to take this forward, because you know she also teaches online, and she sings very beautifully. She has many things to her credit. So I will wait for you all to discover that, but maybe I can ask her to sing something, okay, at some point in time. But let me just take questions and then we'll see that. Okay, so let's look at questions, or if not, then how are we today for questions? Yeah. So yeah, did I experience any conflict, you know, in the context of my earlier background as a psychologist and then the Vedanta teaching? for almost 15 years I worked with street children. So children who'd run away from home, been abandoned, very, very traumatic lives. And I just see Vedanta flowing in. Now, what is very important to note is that Vedanta is for a person who is more or less normal. Because we all know we are not normal, okay? So we have normalized our madness because each of us is equally crazy. So, so this world of madness that we are in, that's why I say more or less normal. Vedanta is addressed to that person. So I will not bring in any Vedanta if I am working with somebody who is going through a recovery from some trauma. Because what that person really needs is delving into his or her support systems. Because no matter what trauma the person has gone through, surely there have been moments of pride in that person's life. Surely there have been moments of happiness in the person's life. Surely there have been moments of courage in the person's life. If nothing else, just the courage to get up and walk when we were 2 years old. Okay, that takes a lot. That we never gave up. I mean, just look at it. So helpless. So you don't know. You can't speak. You're dependent on everyone, and nothing gets you down. So you will get up and walk, and you don't build a narrative of the hurt. So I fell down several times when I was 2 years old. Obviously, like all of us. But I didn't build a narrative about it. Oh, I was hurt in this particular place. That place is very dangerous. If I go there, it is going to happen again. And so therefore, I don't know, this is too much. This world is too much. The world is full of craters and potholes and everything. I didn't build a narrative. And so with people who are recovering from trauma, we help them see the amount of support that is already available to them. We help them delve into their sources of courage. But most importantly, we also look at what is it they are seeking in life, what is it they want. So then we will do some work with them on priorities. So if we're looking at what is it that you are seeking, let's say in the physical area of your life, physical meaning health, nutrition, etc. So have goals for that. So we look at 4 or 5 areas. And this fits in very nicely with Vedanta as well, because trying to determine the purpose of my life is very, very important, because we are seeking. We cannot abandon the seeking because we are always seeking, So we look at what is it the person is hoping to do or gain in the area, in physical, then emotional. So so emotional, social, intellectual, financial. So I'll give you an example. In the emotional, like all of us have a need to love and be loved, correct? But the way it manifests is different. So as a little child, I just want to be with my parents, but then maybe later I might just want to be with my partner. Or I've had several relationships, I am so, exhausted. I'd say, no, I'm happy with a dog, I don't want to deal anymore with human beings, that's it for this lifetime. Or I will hang out with my senior citizens, we have a club, we hang out. Or I will just watch some TV, or I will chat online. Yeah. So the need to love and be loved is there throughout one's life. The degree may be more, the degree may be less. But depending on your age and stage of life, the way it manifests and the goal that you want to achieve at that stage in life must be articulated. Not by your guru or any coach or any mentor. You have to do it for yourself because it's your life. Likewise, socially, intellectually, etc. So what we would do with such a person, or any person for that matter, not necessarily going through trauma, is that just help the person live a fulfilling life, and also bring in the teachings in terms of the overall attitude to life, that life is not out there to get you, life is really a manifestation of Ishvara, that all the way you are blessed. So you help the person see the blessing that is there that you are a blessing and your life is a blessing all the way. So that's more or less how we would approach it. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Yes? Say again, if we accept. Yeah, so when you say if you have if you accept that you are whole and complete, do you see that? Yeah, if you were to see that, then perhaps you may not have a very strong need to love and be loved. Okay? But mark my words, you will feel so free because now there's really no separation. You are free to love all of humanity because your heart has expanded so much. Obviously not physically, but your heart has expanded so much that you can accommodate the whole world in it. You can accommodate people's idiosyncrasies in it also. And if it requires you to bash up somebody because that's what they need, you can do that also. So, we don't have to struggle too much with the need to love and be loved, but just ensure that we do it according to values and enjoy it, because really when limitlessness expresses itself in a human mind, in a human being, it's very dynamic. When you sense that there is no separation between you and the other, what will be your natural response? It will be of love. Sometimes that love may manifest as passion, sometimes as compassion, sometimes as some kindness, sometimes as tough love, sometimes as discipline. But you are so free that you can embrace the whole world. Yeah. Okay, any other questions? Nandana, do you want to say something, or would you sing, or? Okay, so I would really encourage you to, go to her. I mean, of course, because she's a dear friend, not only because of that, but for anybody who wants to take this forward, because a lot of people have come up to me and said, it's okay, it's nice, we're having some fun at the yoga festival, but how do we take this forward? And if at all, the enthusiasm of the moment still stays, it doesn't fizzle out only with the festival, then there is someone you can go to here in the UK. Okay, so Nandana, she sings very beautifully, chants, yeah, you can do something. I think we have about 2 minutes, maybe, yeah? Yeah, just 2 minutes, and change over. Yeah?
So while Swamini was talking, I was thinking of a kirtan which actually speaks of what she's saying, and you can all, as I sing, you can repeat. So it's a call and respond. The words are very simple. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Satchitananda Rupam, Shivoham Shiva. So Satchit Ananda Rupam. I am the form of existence, consciousness, limitless happiness. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Satchidananda Rupam, Shivoham Shiva.
Satchidananda Rupam,
Shivoham
Shiva.
Satchidananda Rupam, Shivoham Shiva. Satchidananda Rupam, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham Shiva. Shivoham, Shivoham, Shivoham
So we meet tomorrow afternoon